Hailing frequencies are open. Hello, Gen Con Live. It's us, the Streampunks. You might recognize us from Shield of Tomorrow, Callisto 6, a bunch of shows we did on the old days over at Geek and Sundry. We have now formed ourselves into a little bit of indie group, and we are continuing a campaign that we started back in January called Clear Skies, which is our new Star Trek Adventures live play, including our brand new show that we just launched, Blood of the Void, which is our Klingon live play, which has been interesting. That one happens about once a month at the last Monday of every month. Today's a very special episode because we're having a crossover episode. This one's been foretold for a while now. We're really looking forward to this one because this is literally the first time since these players have played with each other. We've got 3 members of our Federation crew and 3 members of our Klingon crew all gathering on Risa today. And an episode that I think we can all kind of just go ahead and agree that it's going to be titled The Search for Skag, because it just feels appropriate. If you don't know who Skag is, that'll become quite obvious into our game. No real announcements that we're going to make today, just that if you would like to watch us regularly, you can find us on the channel Q Times on Twitch. We play 6:30 p.m. PT on Monday nights. And we're looking forward to jumping back into Clear Skies next week. And of course, as I said before, the last Monday of every month is our Blood of the Void Klingon campaign. So unless anybody has any pertinent announcements, because we don't have our usual 3-hour slot. We got our 2-hour slot to tell a story today and figure out how you guys mess up Risa. So unless there's any other announcements, Aki, what you got for me?
You can catch me today at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Hunters Gathering over on Hunters Entertainment. We'll be talking all of the fun, creative stuff that they're doing over there. And then tomorrow, also on Hunters Entertainment, you can find me at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. EDT for their Altered Carbon live play. And then the following day on 2 p.m. over at Saving Throw Show, you can find me on New Pantheon with Sam DeLev, Eric Reichert, and Bria Iyengar, and our herald Stephen Pope playing demigods, and those are all of my Gen Con things.
Just look at all my social media to find mine. I'm not gonna go through those, but just follow at.
If you have anything you want to announce real quick before we jump into the game, don't sweat it. Go ahead and announce it. Don't even
just
sweat
follow at Bonnie Bell G. I have a panel later today in honor of Harry Potter's birthday with actual magicians performing magic all day, and then tomorrow I have a D&D one shot on Gen Con with Xander Jeanneret, my library bard's counterpart. We'll be playing D&D with some folks. To do that, I'll put the details up there.
Right, and I'll just kind of take a page out of Bonnie's book and just say that I have a panel on Sunday, which is going to be really exciting because it's literally about running games in other IPs and how you can make that your own game. Traditionally, we have run games since our days at Geek and Sundry in major television IPs, from Doctor Who to Star Trek. So I'm going to be joining a wonderful group of panelists who have traditionally been running games in major IPs or who have like told stories in like big media IPs. I believe Power Rangers is actually on there, Philip. So a little bit of a tribute there, but
I didn't get the invite. What the heck?
Yeah, I know, right? What's up with that? That's all I've got. I think we can let the honkitude begin, my friends. Without any further ado, let's jump into today's crossover episode of Blood of the Void in Clear Skies. Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed our Blood of the Void intro. For anybody who is asking, we are going to be having this VOD will be available on the Gen Con YouTube page and on the Gen Con archive. Before we begin today's episode, let's go ahead and start with some quick introductions of player and the character that they're playing and what show they're coming from. We'll start with you, Jade.
I'm Jade Law. I'm playing Commander Adaj, and I'm from Blood of the Void.
Philip.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Philip Jean-Marie. I'm playing Lieutenant Olmec, the science officer.
Rave.
Hey everyone, my name is Revati Domse, and I'm playing Lieutenant Jane Lacat, the Cardassian science officer from Clear Skies.
Dr. McCrell. And you're muted, Bonnie.
I'm muted. Hello, everyone. My name is Bonnie Gordon. I will be playing the Cation Doctor, Dr. McCrell from Clear Skies. Yes.
All right. Aki.
Hi, everybody. I'm Aki, and I am playing Ambassador Olin Majanil, the Deltan ambassador from Clear Skies.
And of course, Quincy.
Hi, my name is Quincy Sursmith, and I'll be playing Lieutenant Ra'amyan, the second officer and helm officer from Blood of the Void.
Klingons and Federation on Risa. Here we go. We're beginning today's episode on the beautiful tropical paradise that is Risa. For those who aren't aware, Risa has become a gem vacation spot known throughout the quadrants as one of the most beautiful and relaxing places anyone can visit. It's a popular hotspot for shore leave. It's just a popular hotspot in general. It's definitely not, I wouldn't call it the Las Vegas of Star Trek. It's so much more of just like a snapshot of your typical tropical getaway, amplified using all of the future accoutrements. In Risa, one of the most astonishing achievements has been the extraordinary refinement of the environmental control systems that are planet-wide. Environmental controls is not anything unusual in this day and age. People can control the weather with the technology that's available, but Risa was not anywhere near as pleasant as it used to be back in the day. It has since been transformed over the centuries. Slowly but surely, it has been created using technology into this perfect island paradise. Not unusual to see scantily clad people walking about arm in arm with multiple other scantily clad people, drinks being delivered poolsides, massages, meditation. It's a hippie's paradise. It is the perfect place to just chill and unwind and enjoy some time away from the cold black void of space. We begin today's episode in this beautiful, relaxing environment with 3 crimson columns of energy beginning to materialize in the middle of the lobby area of a Ryson hotel registration. As guests are walking through this area, passing around, a sharp contrast to the beautiful silks and pale and pastel-like colors all around you, 3 Klingon warriors in full battle armor materialize among the guests, followed momentarily, almost with comedic precision, a 4th red column of energy, and materializing behind the 3 of our Klingon players is a rather astonished looking Tellarite in what looks like a respectable captain, civilian captain's uniform of dark blues and leathered like browns, folded tunic over the top with the Tellarite symbol on the side, indicating that he was part of the civilian trading fleet. Why don't we go one by one? Jade, if you could describe your character for us, as she is taking point in front of the other 2 Klingon officers.
Describe. Yes. I'm Commander Adaj, and Adaj is a Klingon who's about 5'2", so pretty small. She's looks like me. That's what I've decided. And yeah, she's wearing a big coat with a ton of stuff underneath that's kind of mysterious and unknown, but see, she's kind of bulky because of like everything that she's wearing.
Okay. Philip, What does Omek look like?
Yes, I'm 6'1". I'm not your typical stocky, thick Klingon. I have kind of an athletic build, which gives me the ability to move with agility because I'm a hunter as well.
All right, and Quincy.
Lieutenant Ramyan is bald with just a clean set of ridges up the way of 5 layers, and he has a goatee with the early streaks, the very hints of silver coming out. He's about 5'10". He is that classic wide Klingon build, and he walks a little bit deliberately. He kind of leads with his forehead as he kind of looks around and walks around the place.
Nice. Okay. As the red energy being begins to part in front of your visions and you materialize here, the lot of you who you've been in Federation space before, the 3 of you are aware that you are going to be greeted with things that might normally be considered somewhat repulsive to some Klingons. As you're glancing around, you see bright light everywhere. You see brilliant blues and silvers and golds, people who are scantily clad, which doesn't mean anything to you, but certainly this place does not look like, well, let's just say it doesn't appeal to you the way like the Warriors Hall with the crashing of batlets might. Instead, you see yourself surrounded by comfort and relaxation and things that humans and Federation members in general like to indulge in. And as this distaste kind of slowly creeps into the back of your mouth, you can almost taste it on your palate. It's broken by the almost shrill excitement of the Tellarite going, I've always wanted to go here. Oh, who would have thought that an entire Romulan plot would have brought me to Risa? Oh, this is great. I want to thank all of you. I mean, even if we don't find Skag, it's important that I extend my thanks, not only for obviously rescuing me from the, certain death of suffocating in the vacuum of
step in and
space.
slap him a little bit here and be like, stay on course. We're here to find Skag. Stop smelling these sickening flowers. Let's get back on track.
Snap out of it, man. You smack this Tellarite across the side of his face and get in his face and scream at him, and he goes, you're right. I should be focused. We're here to find Skag. We will find Skag. And about that point, you are approached by a man with deep tanned skin, very well muscled, very scantily clothed, wearing basically what could be, we're going to be referencing the Jean-Luc tights all day today. The Jean-Luc Speedo. We're going to be referencing that a lot today.
We are feasting today, my friend.
We already had the day of honor on Q times. Today is the day of thirst. Welcome to Risa. So this well-muscled, tanned man with a bald head, square-jawed, comes striding up to you with a very warm, surprisingly unintimidated look on his face as he extends open his arms, palms facing towards all of you, and says, welcome, visitors to Risa. My name is Marian, and I will be your liaison while you are here. Do you have your appointments booked?
No.
Well, that is not a problem. We can certainly see you at the front desk, and we'll be able to get you set up in a room, and your stay will be pleasant.
I'm gonna bend back towards my counterparts and think, do you think we should have a secret base where we can conduct our operations?
It seems unlikely that the Federation would allow us to park camp, as it were.
Where is the bar?
Oh, of course, yes. Drinks will be made available to you as soon as we have you all checked in. Of course, we're very happy to receive visitors from our friends in the Klingon Empire and our Tellarite friends as well. And gives a big pearly white smile to the Tellarite, and the Tellarite goes, oh, well, thank you. I'm with them, by the way. They're my friends.
Acquaintances.
Acquaintances. They're my Klingon acquaintances.
I lean in and I take a deep whiff of this.
You just lean in and just. Now it's funny because Adaj, you are being a Klingon woman. You are 5'1", so you basically come up to this guy's rather well sculpted pecs, and just take in his scent. He doesn't seem to be that surprised by this. In fact, probably somewhat familiar with Klingon custom, because as you do this, he returns the favor, leans in, kind of bending down a little bit, and just next to your ear. A few people are watching as this is a very intimate Klingon exchange. As the two of you experience it right there in the middle of the lobby. The Tellarite, however, Captain Wath, standing next to you, just says, "What are they doing? At that point, the man leans back and looks at you, Adaj, and just says, "Once we have you registered, options will be available to you."
Oh, I'd be happy to secure chambers for us then.
Right this way, please. As you approach the desk, he does pause and say, "Oh, and I'm sorry, but I am going to have to take your disruptors and your diktats. There are no weapons allowed on Wysa. And in full transparency, there is dampening fields over this main area, so the weapons will not be able to be fired. I promise you they will be treated with honor and respect and returned to you upon your departure."
Yes, this is we must conduct this operation with secrecy and diplomacy if we must.
Operation?
Sexual operation.
Of course. I believe I understand now. And at that point, Captain Wath goes, "I'm sorry, did she say, I thought we were here to find..." What? Why am I here again?
We're, yeah, here for pleasure.
So the lot of you stand at the front desk, fumbling through this and become registered guests here on Rysa. As that is happening, about 600 feet away outside in a very large pool area, these beautiful light blue beams of energy begin to form as materializing here just outside are 3 officers of the USS Ross. As these blue curtains of energy part before your eyes, you see this tropical vista in front of you, this great, beautiful landscape of these deep blues of oceans and these towering peaks of tropical forests. And you're surrounded by the Rysians as well as all of the guests who are, as I described before, walking around scantily clad, or if not scantily clad, in wonderful, comfortable-looking refinery of silk robes and whatnot. Go ahead and let's go down. Let's go ahead and describe ourselves. We'll start with you, Jane.
Awesome. So you're seeing a Cardassian who is about 5'10". Cardassians either have like murderous glares or like terrifying smiles on their faces. Jane has neither of these. In fact, she looks kind of pissed. She's wearing plain blacks. Her gal pal, Azumi Shanto, has like actually lent her a white billowing shirt, but otherwise she looks like she's like making a concentrated effort not to fit into here. Like she's refusing to have fun. On her shoulder, you see a ermine-like creature. This is Orwell the Wompat. And
you brought Orwell?
I brought Orwell. I'm on vacation. Like, this piece of shit is coming with me. But Jane kind of like surveys her surroundings. She looks kind of pissed. And as she lands, she says, "You know, isn't there a story about Rysa about a man who like falls asleep here and then wakes up missing a kidney? Usually that sounds like my kind of place, but for right now, I'm just kind of mad at Sol for sending us here."
Okay, so you're not in the duty blues. You're not in your science blues.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
I have
you're already ready for Rysa. Basically.
I've made sort of an effort for Rysa, but not a very great effort for Rysa.
Okay. Dr. McCrell.
Yes. So you see this Cation doctor, just like Commander Adaj. For my species, for Cations, they're usually very tall. I'm very short. I'm about 5'4", which is very odd for Cations, and kind of calico coloring, which is also very odd. You'll also notice that throughout our adventure here on Risa, my fur gets poofier and poofier because it is very humid, and my fur is just going to start getting. I'm just gonna, by the end of the day, probably be a big poof ball trying to control all my hair. Kind of like Monica on Friends when they went to Hawaii with her hair all crazy. Anyway, but she's wearing like what you would consider maybe like casual blue medical robes.
Are
They're
we
just
talking
a
like
little,
Beverly Crusher style?
yeah, they're a little bit less form-fitting than the actual Starfleet uniform, just because she knows her fur is gonna get a little poofier, so she's giving herself a little bit more room to poof out.
Okay, cool.
You can't tell if she's happy about this or not. It's hard to tell. She might be a little
All
indifferent.
right. Olin.
Ambassador Olin, on the other hand, you can tell they're in full vacation mode. They are trying to make the best of the time they're going to have. If you've ever seen what Picard wears during his episode of his Risa vacation, that's more or less what Olin is wearing. Very nicely, like very short, nice short shorts and a billowy kind of wrap top kind of a deal, all white because that's their color scheme. A nice pair of shades, and next to them is their Merle border collie Patience, whom they've brought with them, and she seems immediately excited by the blue water in the ocean. So Olin is already kind of having to take Patience in hand, but they are very excited to be here.
Very similar to the entrance with our Klingon friends, a beat or so passes as a lot of you materialize when a fourth blue energy beam begins to appear next to the three of you, materializing in front of all of you with the same sort of ecstatic look as our Tellarite counterpart is a Ferengi. This Ferengi is dressed in, I wouldn't call it refinery. In fact, for someone of his stature, this might be considered a bit beneath him, but Sprack is definitely dressed a little nicer, using the USS Ross's replicators to his advantage, has managed to create a rather, to the outside eye, a rather, let's put it this way, it's Star Trek 90s fashion. It's this deep, glittering, like ridiculous looking golden shirt that has long sleeves and these billowing, glittering, deep purple like pants that are following down to boots that rise up halfway to the shin. And he is looking around with wide eyes. There was some question as to whether or not the captain was going to insist on Sprack attending this with all of you. As you all experience that blessed 2 to 3 seconds of peace after beaming and looking around, his materialization kind of shatters any hope that this is going to be a Sprack-free vacation as he appears next to all of you and immediately goes, "Oh, I haven't been to Risa since I was a little, you look miserable, Jane." Pointing right at you, the cat.
She looks at him and says, this is the last point in time I want to be taking a vacation, but I'm embracing the philosophy that the quicker we can get into trouble here, the quicker we can get kicked off Risa and I can get back to my sensors.
Look at, just, try to relax a little bit. Doctor's orders.
She respects you, Lieutenant, Dr. McCrell. So she kind of gives a like, huh, at that. But you see her shoulders slump a little, and so like she's trying, she's making an effort.
Well, I could certainly use a drink, so why don't we get ourselves registered, and then maybe we could try to forget about our worries for a little bit. What do y'all say? I know there are massage baths here that would make even this Cardassian science officer purr. I'm just saying, you and your pet are gonna love it here. It's fantastic. Fantastic. You're gonna thank me for having suggested this to the captain.
I think
You know-
Orlov has crawled off and is off terrorizing some poor
In the background, you just see this animal just like dashing along.
resort attendees.
You know, Lacat, there are some really beautiful areas of exploration here. You don't necessarily have to stick around this bit of the resort. There are lush gardens and jungles and all kinds of things that you can, and sport, lots of sport. There are plenty of things that you can go and see.
Yes, don't you like mud and grass? Isn't that your thing, being a science officer? There's plenty of that around here. There's even sand.
I do love mud and grass. I am not going to lie. But she says that with a little bit more of a smile, and she's looking at you now, Olin, because you know how to get to her. And as the science officer, that does make her a little happy. She's like, you know what? Maybe there will be something to enjoy here.
You should ask at the front desk about any hiking expeditions. I'm sure they have plenty.
You know what? I was going to ask them for every illegal act on Risa, but that sounds a lot better.
It's okay to let yourself enjoy your vacation at least a little bit.
And as your commanding officer, I suggest not to participate in too much illegal activity. Or none at all, actually.
I, on the other hand, am not an official member of USS Ross Jane, so if you need something illegally done, you just talk to me, and he pats you on the elbow.
You are a guest of my promenade, though.
True, but this isn't a holodeck program. We're on Risa. And when in Risa, one should enjoy all of one's appetites.
You know what? I think that you've said something that like sparked you've said something that like sparks the like goose in her, the chaotic goose.
There it is.
And she's gonna turn to Sprack and say, Sprack, let's go check out that bar. Not quite 10 forward. They don't have a soul in, I'm sure, but you know what? Worth checking out.
Real alcohol for once, you Federation types really confuse me. And with that, the two of you beeline for the bar while the rest of you are immediately approached upon their departure by a very tall Orion woman. She also has sort of these angular features. She is dressed in a long flowing robe, dark green hair that is bundled up on top of her head, laced with all of these interesting silver weaves coming in and out of these dark threads of hair. Pearl-like objects also sort of glittering down along the sides, almost like these pearl-like teardrops are dripping from this pile of green hair. She approaches you, pale green eyes, and a very warm smile on her face. And like our Klingon counterpoint, opens her arms with her palms and says, "Welcome to Risa, guests. I believe you are the Federation officers that we were expecting today?"
Yes, that is correct.
It's so lovely to meet you. My name is Niala. I will
Nice to
be.
meet you.
It's nice to meet you. And I apologize if the temperatures are a bit off today. We've been experiencing a very minor fluctuation in our environmental grid, but it's nothing to be concerned about. I promise you the weather here will be lovely during your stay. If you would please follow me, I can have you all registered and ready to enjoy yourselves immediately.
As I follow her, you can see like with her mentioning like the atmosphere and stuff like that, you can just see like McCrell just kind of slowly trying to put her, like knowing her fur is probably a little off already.
Yeah.
Just like kind of like
you're trying to manage the
Yeah.
cowlick that may have started to slowly develop.
It's gonna, yeah.
Sometimes being a Deltan with no hair has its perks.
Yeah, I mean, really, you're looking over, Olin, you're glancing over at McCrell, this Cation who's just constantly just trying to keep the fur down.
I've
as y'all
already
are
gained an
walking.
inch. I've already gained an inch in height just from some of the poop happening on top.
In true cinematic fashion, this scene will open with a lot of you entering into the main area just as the Klingons have exited. So as you approach the front desk and you're being registered, you can see in just the neighboring rooms, because these rooms have these large archways in which you can peer into these beautiful, large rooms capable of supporting at least 100 people. Everyone walking around, a lot of folks in bare feet. You can already see on the other side of this structure is what looks like a very large multi-tiered bar. And it is very obvious from all of the guests that have gathered around, the two who are not wearing scantily clad clothing or flowing robes of Risa is a Cardassian and a Ferengi who are already starting to get shots poured for them at the bar. Lakat, as this drink gets poured in front of you, it is Kanar. Apparently, Risa is able to accommodate all sorts of tastes when it comes to drinks. And as the glass is being poured, you see Sprack looking at it rather suspiciously and goes, I have bad memories of Kanar. So, Lakat, it's up to you to make this a better memory. What shall we toast to?
That's better than I do. I have no memories of Kanar, if you know what I mean. Let's
that's sad.
To,
Wait. Why do you have no memories of Kanar?
You know what? Talk to me after 2 shots of this, and you'll get a better idea. What should we toast to? Let's toast to
revenge,
chaos.
Revenge and chaos. And he raises his glass to you. Clink. And the two of you down your first shot. And he goes, okay. I'll have another one of those, please.
Right? And you might not remember it in the morning. It's wonderful. Do you know any good drinking games? And she looks around the seating area.
All right. Glancing around the seating area, there is a brief second, Lakat, as you're kind of aside telling to Sprack, so do you know any good drinking games? And as your eyes scan over the heads in this room that are all seated at these tables, for a split second, just such a quick glance, the kind that makes you wonder if you didn't imagine what you just saw. You swear you see, followed by 2 tall individuals who you don't get really good detail at. You swear you just saw Skag. Damon Skag.
Oh boy.
The elder brother of Sprack. The Ferengi Daemon, who you previously had dealings with when you were receiving that Dominion envoy weeks ago. It happens very quickly.
Doesn't matter. It's enough to set off Jane's suspicious by nature. And so
that's right. That's a talent. No, that's a racial talent for Cardassians, correct? Is that?
It's actually not. I mean, yes. Sorry, it's a racial talent for Cardassians. You're absolutely right. And when attempting to detect hidden enemies, traps, or other forms of danger, the character may re-roll a die. I don't think I'm rolling dice here, but Jane would. But for flavoring, Jane is suspicious by nature, and so she thinks she sees this. She grabs her shot glass because it's a vacation. And I think that she's going to do her best to try and follow.
Okay.
I'm going to say to Sprack, I think I just saw something interesting.
He's in the middle of taking a second shot and goes, what? Where are you going? And then he follows after you. The two of you following your inner Garrick, walk to the entryway where you swear you saw this individual disappear. Rounding the corner, you take a glance left and right and don't see anybody but normal guests walking around. You just see the typical Rycians, the typical Rycian guests. No other signs of Ferengi. A beat later, Sprack joins you and just says, what did you know, you can approach pretty much anyone here and ask for Umox.
Oh no. Does Jane know what Umox is?
Yes.
Okay, Ravity does not know what Umox is.
Oh, I can't tell you what it means. It warms my heart to play with people who are new to Trek because we get to watch you discover all these wonderfully uncomfortable things.
Tell me what an Umox is.
Umox is it is essentially where Ferengis have their earlobes massaged. It is an androgynous. It is. I'll just say this: it is a thing of pleasure for Ferengi to have their earlobes massaged, and they call it Umox.
So, like
Why do you
the
think-
Cardassian neck trick.
What? Yeah, sort of.
Cardassians have a neck trick that like is just ambiguously referred to throughout. Like,
Mhm. Yeah, it gets referenced.
My Trek knowledge is hyper specific to only Cardassians. Anyway,
which is great because Cardassians are isolationists anyway and incredibly xenophobic. So maybe that's just sort of.
maybe you know what? It works. It tracks.
It works.
Do I have my comms on me?
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
Great. I want to comment Olin and Macrell and basically go Lacat to Olin and Macrell. I promise I have not caused any trouble yet, but I think I have eyes on our target.
Really? You've seen him
I hate to
already?
break up the any attempts to relax, but
Well, I figured if anyone was going to see him first, it would have been you. Does Sprack know?
I don't think so. He is enjoying his Kanar.
Just to clarify, Sprack fully believes he is here on vacation. He has no indication that he actually is supposed to be here.
So in that case, Jane looks right at Sprack and as if he's not even in the room, just says, "No, Sprack doesn't know."
Sprack doesn't know what? Glances at you. Don't worry about it. Sure. Okay, I'll just put it away, Jane.
She hands him her shot glass.
What was that?
She hands him her shot glass and then says to Olin and Macrell, and gives her location.
We have already checked in. We'll come and meet you, and maybe we can feel Sprack in. It might be nice to have an extra pair of eyes, especially one with motivation.
Sprack isn't the most subtle, but I will trust you, Dr. Macrell, if this is what you want to do.
The one thing I think that Olin would like to do as they're making their way back down is they kind of want to just get a quick empathic feel for what's going on. Do they feel any presences that shouldn't be here or have a suspicious edge to them, as it were? Anyone who seems to have motives that might not entirely be on the level.
You're looking for that moment in Buffy where all of a sudden she hears somebody say, "I'm going to kill all of you."
something
where
like
she's
that.
telepathic.
Yeah.
So Olin, as you're glancing around, check-in is completed. The lot of you have been taken to your quarters. It is separate quarters, but it's in sort of the same building, but it's like 4 separate rooms dedicated to just the 4 of you. As you've set your bag down on this beautiful bed, the sort of like satin sheet style, like cloths draping from the ceiling and of course on the floor. I mean, it's again, the beauty of Risa as this great wall in front of you is the ability to actually, the wall of this particular complex is holographic and can be whisked away at just a word, so that you are confronted with the open vista of the Rysian coastline in front of you. And as you're standing there looking at and getting this message, you close your eyes and begin to focus a little bit on the emotional ebb and flow of the immediate area to get a sense if somebody might be hostile. As your eyes slowly close and you begin to sink deeper and deeper into this current of emotions around you, what you find, Olin, is that Risa feels like a battery. You feel awashed in relaxation and contentment and other emotions that are not necessarily PG. And
I think that
it's sort of
Olin
like
just
this-
automatically filters those out.
Oh, no. I don't mean, let me put it this way. Desires.
Yeah, they just filter right out. Those don't even process.
You feel like you're basically aware of the emotional connection that people are having with each other as you are focusing deeper and deeper into some of that ebb and flow. As you kind of slip under the general currents of that, what you find is it's essentially, Olin, there's just too much noise, if you want to call it that. There's just such a singular flood of relaxation and contentment all around you that you're not getting anything that's contrasting with that, really.
Okay.
You might be sensing the heightened suspicion of one Jane Lacat.
I'm out of character. I'm mostly trying to figure out whether or not I can sense that the Klingons are here.
You don't really get a sense of that yet, no.
Okay, just wondering.
Before we all meet up, and McCrell's in her quarters and she's unpacking and realizes quickly that she forgot to grab her travel bag of her tea herbs. We might not be on Ryza for it to matter at all, but you can feel the irritation of the doctor knowing that she will not have her cup of tea at all.
Okay. So then we'll say that in that wash of empathy, you do feel a spike of slight aggression, and you're surprised that it is coming from a familiar place.
Majanil to McCrell, are we all right over there?
Yes, let's meet up quickly so we can move this along. I know Lacat is not looking forward to much relaxation.
Yes, we are not exactly on the lengthiest timeline. Let's go.
I'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon. And I make my way down.
Okay. Meanwhile, the Klingons have refused separate quarters. The three of you have managed to remove the bed from this. You've managed to remove like the cushioned areas from the bed so that you had this nice sort of metal plank on the ground, that's basically kind of like elevated up off the ground. This bedroom is not going to do for all of you. There's going to have to be a few more spaces laid out. But I'll just say this, Adaj, when you all checked in, because they were not expecting 3 Klingon visitors and a Tellarite, they gave you what they had. So all 4 of you are currently looking around this rather large room, and the Tellarite doing what he's told, pushing this mattress up against the wall. As it kind of leans up against, he turns around and looks at all of you and says, "Are we bunk buddies? Is that what's going on here?"
I'm gonna push him against the wall, or the mattress that he's loving up against the wall. No! We will not be sharing a bed or a platform or the wall or a table.
No. I was just asking if we're all staying in the same room.
Tellarites sleep in the bathroom.
I'm used to that.
But not when we need to use it. We get priority.
This is going to be a very interesting trip to Ryza. But we do have our scanners still. So if, let me see if I packed mine. And he pulls out his bag. He just kind of slumps it down in front of him. Looking at you, Adaj, he just says, "You don't mind if I scan, do you? I'm sure if I can detect Skag here, I might be able to reach out to him. He was expecting me."
Do scan for him.
Omek, check his work.
Yeah, Omek, the device he pulls out is a Tellarite scanning device. It is not quite as refined as the Klingon tricorder that you have from the KDF, but it is quite good. If you would like to make a scan, we can get our first roll of the game going.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun. See if you can detect. So this is not going to be tricky because we are basically using a tricorder. It's not difficult to scan for life forms. You're specifically looking for Ferengi life forms. So I'm going to have you roll reason plus science. The difficulty of this is going to be 0. So you all are going to get some momentum. And yes, All of y'all are sharing a momentum pool today. So the difficulty is 0. So go ahead and roll your 2d20 and tell me how many successes you get. You're muted, Philip.
Good start. Good start. 2 successes.
Okay, so everyone bank 2 momentum. So as the Tellarite looks like he's trying to get power to his tricorder, you see him kind of futzing with it and just, oh, I forgot to maintenance this thing. You're glancing down at yours and immediately swiping it across the room as your fellow Klingons are kind of tearing this place apart to make it more livable for a Klingon. You immediately detect the presence of a Ferengi not 300 feet from here.
Commander, I'm getting a scan of a Ferengi species nearby.
Is it Skag?
Hard to say. All you're detecting is a Ferengi life form.
Good.
Only one. So.
All right. We know the direction.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Your tricorder is giving you basically precision pinpoint of exactly where it is.
All right.
In the general layout of the Rycian structure that you're in, it's in the bar.
Ramyan, Olmec, make whatever weapons you can from this room and let us go.
Oh, are we ready to go already? And the Tellarite sets it down. Captain Wath looks at everybody and says, what would you like me to do? I should make contact, right? Or do you want me to wait here?
You're coming with us.
Right. Okay, my first battle. What do you Klingons do? Should I headbutt someone?
Sure. And I headbutt him just to give a test for it.
He goes, oh!
Yeah, that's what it's gonna feel like. Now you won't fear battle anymore.
I'm ready.
The commander honors you. Return the honor. Tellarite.
Through like a smacked lip, he just kind of, right. I'm Klingon now. Let's go.
All right. I also grab one of the fruit bowls in the room, empty it out, and I like smash it on the floor so that I have a few shards that I kind of
okay. You smash this fruit bowl on the ground. You take one of the I tell you what, if you're willing to spend 1 momentum, I'll let you take a stabbing object from smashing that on the ground. You can have your makeshift knife. So you smash this fruit ball on the ground. So -1 momentum from the pool. You slide that into the cup. Now this is not going to be easy to use. So I am going to raise the difficulty of using it by 1. So it's going to be improvised device. So it'll be a difficulty of 2 if you try to stab somebody with it. But you got yourself a stabbing weapon. You slide that into your coat, and all 4 of you aggressively filter out of the room. A few moments later, Lacat, you're sitting there with you're sitting there with Sprack. Sprack, of course, throwing some pretty sarcastic comments about you. Sprack has been grilling you for the past 2 minutes about, look, I'm not stupid. You were talking about me right in front of me. Just tell me what it was about. You don't have to be detailed. What do you mean Skag doesn't know? Sprack doesn't know.
Actually, so point of clarification, if he hasn't been downloaded by the captain yet about like why we're here as well, has there been any sort of like order for like not divulging that information?
No, not at all.
Okay, great.
No.
Okay, great. That's good to know. So I'm gonna let him grill me for a few more seconds and then drop it on him like a bomb.
Okay. For drama.
Yeah, let's do it.
You get the words, all right, look, this is why we're here. When you hear gasps as to your left, you see a troop of Klingons approaching you at full stride. They are in KDF battle armor. They are not dressed casually at all. They look like members of the Imperial fleet. They are flanked by a Tellarite who is bleeding from the lip and looks determined, kind of striding next to them with his chest puffed up, trying to look also tough. The one in the lead, it is interesting because these 2 Klingons standing close to about, am I right that Lieutenant Ramyan is about 6 feet? Is that correct?
Little under, just
little under 6 feet. Flanked by two Klingon officers. The one in the lead is a Klingon woman in full battle armor, with a long coat, standing at about 5'1", and easily looks the most intimidating out of the three as they are striding up to you. And they are beelining straight for all of you. It is impossible to miss. It's clear they have intention because their eyes lock upon the two of you and the Ferengi. The three of you, the Klingons, you spot a Ferengi with 2 shot glasses in his hand, looking quite casual, standing in front of a Cardassian who doesn't have any identifiers on her at all. And both of them glance at the three of you as you're approaching with surprised looks on their face. And at about that point, Sprack leans in and goes, "Please tell me these are friends of yours."
Yeah, I'm gonna march up to him. How tall is Sprack?
What's that?
How tall is Sprack?
Sprack is about your height.
Okay, great.
Which is typical for a Ferengi. What was that, Jane? What were you saying?
I don't remember. Please continue.
Yeah, I marched up to him.
You both basically lose your words as these Klingons stride up to you.
I grab him by both his ears, and I kind of like just grab them, and I say, "Are you Skag?"
This Ferengi screams as a bunch of the guests and Risa immediately turn and look.
Okay, so Jane's not cool with her friends being handled like that. If anyone gets to touch Sprack like that, it's gonna be her. So she's first calling in Olin and Macrell and saying, Olin, Macrell, we have Klingons. Looks like Risa really does cater to everyone. And then she's going to turn to the Klingon that is manhandling Sprack, and is going to say, if I were you, I would put him down right now. And is there a butter knife on the table, Eric?
If you spend a point of momentum,
I want a butter knife.
you swipe this butter knife. As you grab up this knife and everyone starts reacting to everything as is happening, Jane, it clicks to you that Idaj actually screamed, "Are you Skag?"
I mean, I know. So she heard that. She processes that they're looking for Skag. But she is, I mean, this is character growth for Jane. She cares about her friend right now more than like necessarily finding.
This is character growth. I'm gonna grab a knife.
Growth. I'm gonna grab a knife, but you know what? Before finding the target, I'm going to make sure my friend is okay. So she's threatening Commander Idaj with the butter knife, telling him to put down her friend. And if I were you, I would put him down right now. And this is not Skag. This is Sprack.
And just as that comes out of your mouth, the Tellarite goes, "That's him. That's him. That's him. I know it. That's him."
I would check your eyes, Tellarite.
Do not lie to us, Cardassian. If this is the one we are looking for, then we are looking for this one.
Yeah.
And
then
yeah.
During this, I drop him by his ears and I spin him around so that I have an arm around his neck, and my foot is kind of blocking what's happening. I just have an arm around his neck so you can't really see.
Okay, and at about that point, people have started to scatter out of the room, and the Rycian security begins to get involved. But before they arrive, before you see people arriving on the edges of the room, Macrell and Olin come dashing into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I am poofed out.
Real quick, Macrell, if I remember correctly, you did have your medical uniform on. Does it have the Federation insignia on it? I just want to know who's identifiable as an officer.
I have my comm badge on, yes. And
okay. And
also,
Olin, you have your comm badge as well? Okay.
And I think technically Jane does too in that case then.
Okay, you would have your comm badge on as well. All right, so this is the setup of the scene. At this point, the chaos that has unleashed is a lot of you converging on one spot as guests of Risa begin to scatter out of the room. There is a small Klingon woman holding what looks like an improvised bladed object to the neck of Sprack, who is going, "My ears, my ears, my ears, my ears, my ears, my ears." You see a Tellarite is also there, kind of excitedly pointing, "That's him, I know it, that's him." These Klingons look Klingoningly irritated. Jane looks like she's ready to slash someone up. The Klingon in the front looks like she's ready to cause like a public execution right there on the floor. Olin, you are definitely getting a wash of aggression, suspicion, and confusion in this room suddenly as the two of you dash up.
All right, everybody, let's just take a deep breath. Jane?
We're not the only ones looking for Skag.
Well, that's
Skag?
good.
My brother? What do you know about Skag? You hear Sprack say that to you, Adaj. Just go, what do you know about him?
We are actually, so this, we didn't know you were going to be here, Sprack, and we're not just here on vacation because Federation types almost never are. We are actually here looking for your brother.
Brother? You mean to say that this Ferengi isn't Skag? Wolf! You said this was Skag!
Well, he looks like Skag. Skag is my brother.
What did I say 2 seconds ago?
We can, if we're all here on the same purpose, then there's no reason why any of this should be happening. We're scaring the guests and now the security is here. Maybe let's try to keep a low profile, otherwise Skag might get tipped off.
Forgive me, but you said you are also looking for him. Maybe, if we put our resources together, we could find him more quickly.
Okay, you see the Tellarite say, yeah, that sounds great to me.
Quiet. You have caused us much dishonor already by misidentifying this Ferengi.
Well, he looks like them. Very similar. Anybody could have made that mistake. Oh, thank you. Thank you. For the record, I'm the handsome one in the family, okay? You can see signs of aging on Skag, okay? I'm just saying. Wait a minute. Are you saying that he's here?
Oh, I turn him around and I take a really good look at him. Is there a way for me to know if he's Skag or not?
Not really. You're kind of going off the word of the Tellarite. And you see he looks back at you and says, you're not going to grab my ears again, are you?
Not in a hurtful way. You're not Skag? You're not Skag?
Can I do an insight?
Yes. Would you like to do an insight check?
Yes, please.
So this is going to be insight security. This would normally be a difficulty 0, but just because I'm going to be a jerk GM and inspire pure chaos, I'm going to spend a point of threat and raise the difficulty to 1, which is kind of just basically a little bit of an improvised rule. Actually, I'll make it 2 points of threat since I'm kind of janking around with our rules here. So go ahead and make your roll. Difficulty on this is 1.
We sadly have no momentum for an extra die, but you got this.
At some point, I do want to try and do a diffuse the tension roll, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that next. What'd you get?
I have 1 success.
Okay.
And 1 complication.
Excellent. Yes. I'm going to, you know what? Just to keep things moving, I'm going to just use that to bank the threat that I just spent right back into my pool. So at the end of the day, you managed to get that. You're looking at him for a second, and Quincy, specifically, what was Lieutenant Ramyan attempting to accomplish?
Just decide whether these people are telling the truth or are they all just kind of messing with us.
You get the impression the Ferengi is confused. The Cardassian seems like she's ready to stab someone. And however, the Cation and the Deltan look desperate for you to believe them. And at that point, let's go ahead and have you do your diffuse the tension roll, Olin.
Right.
So specifically tell us what you're doing so everyone knows exactly.
What the doctor said is absolutely true. If we are all here for the same purpose, then there's no reason why we should be causing a commotion. The only thing this is going to accomplish is getting us all very quickly kicked off the planet. So maybe let's not. We can do this. We can work together. In fact, this might actually be a really good thing. And yeah, I'm just gonna throw that diplomacy focus in there, and then yeah.
Okay, let's say this. As a Deltan, and with the ability to diffuse tension, instead of having this to be a roll, I want to put this to the players. So you can all tell me if the rationale and the calming nature of this Delton speaks to you. They seem to be sincere in what they're saying to you all. And there does seem to be some confusion, but this could be a Cardassian trick as well. However, it is unusual to see 3 Federation insignias. But wait a minute, there are no Cardassians on Starfleet. Something is definitely up.
I'm doubtful because we came here to find a Ferengi, and we found one Ferengi on our scanner, and I have him in my arms right now.
So doubtful. Would you say you're still? Would you say? So you're basically you've gone from aggressive to skeptical.
Yeah, I also have a ton of adrenaline pumping through my veins.
Right, because you're holding a sharp object, which Adaj loves to do.
Yeah. And I'm just not willing to totally let go of what's happening right now. I have a Ferengi in my arms, assuming the one I was sent here to find. So I'm not immediately going to kill anyone, but I feel totally trustful.
Can I sense this skepticism?
In a moment, let me get Lieutenant Ramyan and Lieutenant Omex. What do you do? Do you think the Delton just talked some sense into you?
I think that Ramyan is open to the idea, but you always trust and verify, as they say in the Klingon political halls. So Ramyan's inclined to back off a bit, but not let them out of our sights or just trust them fully. Like maybe we can keep this Ferengi as
your best lead.
Well, just to make sure until we find the one we're looking for that this isn't the one.
Okay. Lieutenant Omek, being a different flavor of Klingon, being a scientist, how is Lieutenant Omek taking this?
I'm definitely skeptical, but I feel like maybe if I have access to a Klingon database, then maybe I'd be able to scan this Ferengi and truly identify who he is.
Like a person, like a wanted database or any kind of like. Well, I tell you what, you'll need to get some momentum again, or you can do, if you get access to, you wouldn't be able to access anything like that from Risa. You'd need a ship in orbit, and you guys technically don't have one right now. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
No, what's up, McCraw?
I was gonna say, Dr. McCraw, as the commanding officer right now, I'm going to put one of my paws up, kind of like trying to hold on. But one of my paws is slightly back with the claws extended, just in case things escalate. Because I'm assuming I can see the commander has some kind of weapon or something.
Oh, Adaj has not. No. That weapon has been pointed at the Ferengi.
Exactly. So I'm gonna have one paw kind of a little bit behind with my claws extended, just in case things escalate, and be like, "Look, let's go find someplace a little bit more private where we can discuss this. Obviously, there are no weapons on Risa, so I don't think physically you see any threat with the 3 of us. And as we know, Ferengi are no fighters either. You could probably break them with your pinky. But let's just find someplace a little bit less public, so we don't cause a scene and all get banished from Risa within 5 minutes of arriving, yes?
That, coupled with the ambassador's appeal for calm, everyone's kind of glancing at each other when Sprack finally speaks up and says, "Look, if you're looking for my brother, I want to find him too. And I really want to send him out of an airlock. So if you know where he is, could you let me kill him before you kill me, at least?"
There will be no killing today, Sprack.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Could you let me not kill him before you kill me?
At the very least, you cannot afford the dishonor that would come to you if you accidentally bring the wrong Ferengi back.
Oh, I say enough of this talk. Clearly, none of you are a threat. in any way. So let us retire to some chambers where you can confirm your identity as not Skag.
That
Lead
sounds
the
good to me.
way. Well, I will let this commander decide where they would like to meet. I want them to think that they are in control of the situation here.
Okay.
I want them to think that they have the upper hand in this.
At that point, a large Cation security officer approaches and just says, "I'm sorry, but is there a problem here?"
No, there is no problem here. And I start to back away, still holding the Ferengi, and back towards the Klingon room.
Sprack immediately speaks up and says, "No, we're fine. Just old girlfriend, just kind of, everything's good. Thank you so much, though. Really appreciate the security here in Raisha. You did a great job stopping anyone having a knife held to their face. Thanks. Thank you. We're good. Thank you."
And as he says that, I'm gonna slowly grab Lecat's hand and lower their hand. That way the security guard doesn't see that she's literally holding a knife.
Yeah,
she's slowly putting her hand down. Yes, but
she feels you put her hand down, and she'll put it down. She does not like the fact that we're handing over control of the situation to the Klingon, so she's choosing to say nothing at all.
Jaw clench.
I'm just looking at Lecat.
She's taking it from her best friend Prawl. Just a little jaw clench.
So I'm just gonna give Lecat a knowing glance, it's like trying to let her know, it's okay. We're gonna get the situation under control.
She looks at McCrell and says, "I'm keeping the butter knife."
I can't believe it's not.
Why don't we do our classic TNG shot of a beautiful matte painting of the environment, panning shot before we cut to a room where all of you are gathered. The lot of you sitting in this room for the past 15 minutes have very carefully shared your story as to why you were all here. And to bring everyone up to speed, what you discover is that these Federation officers, you discover that Olin is an ambassador, a Deltan ambassador, and one of the higher ranking Deltan ambassadors of the quadrant. You also learn about McCrell being a medical officer, Lecat being a science officer, and it's a little surprising to hear this Cardassian as a Starfleet officer, but there you have it. You get confirmation. But what's really interesting to you, particularly Adaj, is you learn they're from the USS Ross, which is like the tides of fate have aligned with what you have been asking about this whole time. You learn this Ferengi's name is Sprack, and that he used to be the daemon of a Cardassian marauder known as, well, I'll tell you what. I'll pose this to the group because I want to give you guys back some momentum. So just to encourage player note-taking here, who remembers the name of the Ferengi marauder? And I'll give you one momentum if you can tell me what the name is.
I have it in my notes.
Check your notes.
Hold, please.
This is for the momentum.
Poop. I'm looking for it. Did I just say poop? I'm on mute.
You're gonna lose it.
The liquidator.
The liquidator. That's Dakora class Ferengi trader that Sprack used to be the daemon of, but was marooned on a pirate moon by his brother Skag.
Do I get a prize?
Sprack, you all gain one momentum. I'm trying to keep your momentum pools fueled because not a lot of role opportunities yet this game. So apparently you all learn that the Klingons are here to find Skag because Skag was the middleman in a deal between this Tellarite captain that they've captured. This, by the way, the Tellarite's name is Captain Woth, W-O-T-H. You get the feeling from the Tellarite is that he's extremely affable, not a typical Tellarite in any manner of speaking, very jovial and completely naive as to the situation that he finds himself in. But apparently this Captain Wath was also one of the people that Skag was dealing with in setting up an exchange with the Romulans. As the story unfolds and the two parties begin to exchange information, Federation USS Ross crew members, you learn from the Klingons that Skag was the middleman in a deal with a Romulan who was attempting to acquire a resource called Trillium D, which helps enforce the hull composition of starships against spatial anomalies which are present in the Shackleton Expanse. And then you hear some very familiar hints as to who this Romulan is. You hear talks of a Romulan admiral. You hear mentions of a cloaked ship that has been trailing the Ross. You learn from these Klingons some very interesting parallels to a lot of the intelligence that you've been getting from Starfleet intelligence and a lot of the intelligence that you have all gotten from the captain. But you can't confirm it. Because as a quick reminder to the players, you are all aware that a cloaked ship has been stalking the USS Ross. But as of right now, explicitly, information that has been passed to both Commander Exio and Captain Sull has not been given detailed to the rest of the staff. Like, you guys are aware that there is a Romulan ship stalking, and you are aware that it is being captained by an Admiral Mendak. The Klingons seem to know something about this, but they too don't give the full story. And after about 15 minutes of exchanging information, the scene continues with all of you. All the cards now out on the table, with some questions still to be had.
All right. So now that I know this definitely isn't Skag, I turn to Skag and I kind of release him where he's kind of been sitting on my lap because I've kept him close the entire time. And I rub his ears and I say, "My apologies, little one. I didn't mean to hurt you in any way."
Skag, as you rub his sore ears, looks at all of you and goes, "I am so confused right now."
I'm just gonna pull him aside and and actually medically examine, not touch them because we've done that before. Just make sure he's okay because I know they were rough handled and they're
he straightens out his clothes and looks at you, Doctor, and just goes, "This has been the greatest and worst trip to Russia I've ever had. Real quick, Doctor, before you release me back to the Targs over there, I'm just curious, were you serious about me not being able to kill my brother? Because I think I should be allowed."
Skag, revenge is
Okay.
yes.
Don't
If you want a
speech,
Federation
I get it.
speech, I'll give it to you. But
Okay,
really, the more time we waste, you know.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So.
No, I will not let you kill your brother.
Okay,
but
right,
I
so-
do want to see justice served and your ship returned to you.
Can Jane hear this conversation?
Yes, sure. It's very quietly whispered off to the side.
You're gonna hear her. So she hears this conversation about killing brothers, and she's gonna say, "Sit down, Skag. Killing brothers is overrated."
Skag says, slowly takes a seat and goes, well, Frank, you don't feel that way about it. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. As a quiet begins to settle over the room, Captain Wath speaks up and says, so I'm just going to go ahead and take the floor here for a minute, if that's okay with everyone. So my ship was destroyed after I made a transfer to a cloaked Romulan vessel near the Romulan neutral zone out near the Shackleton Expanse. And that was a deal that was set up by your brother, points at Skag, and I'm supposed to meet him here so that payment is delivered. Now, obviously, I can't do that because my ship was completely obliterated after I transferred the Trillium D. So, do we want to maybe have it so I still am trying to get the deal done and then you jump in? Or do you want me to, I don't know. I have this. And he pulls out this little communication device and he goes, and I have a frequency where I'm supposed to contact him, by the way.
Why did you not lead with this? This would have saved us a lot of... Never mind.
Sorry, I just realized I had it. I completely forgot.
It's fine.
Lots going on, you know? Lots happening. It's a really exciting time here in Risa.
Yes, it is.
You see Dr. McCrell's like still trying to keep her fur down and getting like a little bit.
Sprack is just slipping out Ferengi native tongue as he's just like swearing under his fists.
Well, if anyone is going to talk to the Romulans and get an answer out of them, I think we know who that is. And Jane looks at Olin.
We're not going to be talking to Romulans. We're going to be talking to his brother.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, that's all right.
Yeah.
But yes, I like that idea too. But I look to the
Romulans,
Klingons.
never mind, I meant Sprack.
I look to the Klingons and I'm gonna go,
I'm not sure how well the three of you are undercover or being a little less how do you say observe I don't know how well that you guys can
Conspicuous.
You're Klingons, you stick out and you get loud.
But I feel like this is a great opportunity for us to work together. If we can get your captain friend here to contact Sprack's brother, and if we set up a meeting spot that seems a little bit isolated, yet there's 6 of us can somehow be hidden, or ambassador, maybe you could be there as a mediator for the meeting. Maybe there's a way to capture him without drawing too much attention to the Rise's security.
Are you saying we're conspicuous?
You're very conspicuous, yes. Would you agree? And Captain Wath goes, it's true. You kind of stand out a little bit. Everyone here is dressed so nice and you are all ready to wage war. So you stand out a little bit.
Klingon is always ready to wage war. But are you doubting the ability of our team to stay in the shadows and not be able to set up a trap? I'll have you know that Commander Idaj is one of the greatest at setting up traps for battle.
Excellent. Then I suggest that we work together and attempt to capture Sprack's brother with the least amount of attention to us as possible, yes? And the least bloody.
Fair enough. By Klingon law, technically, both the Captain Wath has the right of revenge for his destroyed ship. Then following this, Sprack has the right of revenge for his brother. So really, we should wait for one person at a time to get their chance. By Klingon law.
Omek?
You are muted, Omek. You are muted.
I suggest that we meet on an isolated part of the island. Sorry, my comms is not working as well.
Okay.
Is there a way to get momentum with giving the communicator to Omek to kind of reproduce the signal and triangulate where the other side of the communicator might be coming from?
Well, you wouldn't be able to, you could try to do it as a scan for Ferengi life forms if you want to do that. Now that you have this one, but the thing is this tricorder can scan up to 5 kilometers and you didn't detect anything.
Well, because Wolf has the communicator, right? That can directly contact Sprack.
Oh, yes. It will actually connect directly to Sprack. If he's to be believed, this device that he just randomly produced from his pocket will actually connect him directly to Skag.
Yeah, could I have Omek run some sort of like
scan on that?
Scanny thing. That's
sure.
What it connects to.
If you want to order him to do it, you can. You're the commander, yeah.
I think we'll capture it.
I think Lacat should assist.
How?
It's a
So you're gonna have to
Klingon,
explain to me
though.
how Lacat assists a Klingon commander in ordering her subordinate to make the scan. What are you going to be doing to do that, Dr. McCrell?
Well, as soon as I hear the commander's idea, I'm going to look at Lacat and I'll be like, I believe that we could save a few minutes if you assist the lieutenant in his scan for the other side of the transmitter. I'm just
Doctor,
gonna
you want me
suggest,
to-
and hopefully
Doctor,
maybe
you want me to help a Klingon?
yes. No, Lacat, I want you to help us in finding Sprack's brother, Skag. And in doing so, it would be lovely if you assisted the lieutenant, if, of course, Lieutenant Omek is all right with that.
She looks at you dead in the eye and says, "You owe me," before turning to help.
Okay.
And
Yes.
Jane would like to assist.
So Jane, you pull out your tricorder as well.
Yeah.
Flip it open. All right. Adaj gives the order to Omek to basically scan the device to see if there's any sort of like anomaly or tracking or anything that would help enhance, basically locate this Ferengi. So when it makes a connection, you'll know where he is. So a pretty smart idea. If Skag is on this planet, and if he's at the main hub of the Rycian vacation spot, you should have picked him up when you scanned. It's curious that if he is here, and Jane has reason to believe so because she's pretty sure she spotted him, he should have come up on scanners. Instead, it was only Sprack that came up on scanners. So this is how we're going to do this. Y'all are using a tricorder, so I'm going to drop the difficulty by 1 because you've got that as a device that's helping you with this. The difficulty was going to be 4, so it's dropping down to 3. So Omek, you're going to be the lead here. You're going to roll scan. So for you, this is going to be a reason science check. For Lacat, I'm going to have this be a control science check. So
I can't help with this, right?
And we have 1 momentum if you want to take it for an extra die, Lieutenant Omek.
We've got 1 assist going already.
Oh.
So what we'll do, this is literally the 2 science officers basically trying to make this roll. So the difficulty is 3. So Philip, you'll roll your 2d20. And if you want to burn that point of momentum, you can gain a 3rd die to roll here. And then Lacat, once we go ahead and make your 1d20 roll.
Okay, great. Can I do my focuses count for an assist?
No, you can't really bank a focus critical on this because you're an
So
assist.
I rolled 1 4.
What's that?
I rolled a 4.
You rolled a 4? Okay, so that's going to be 1 success. So let's find out what Lieutenant Omek got.
I have 1 success, 1 complication, and 1 failure. Sorry, guys.
Okay, excellent. I'm gonna use that complication. You detect, as you are looking at this device, 2 things. First of all, you detect immediately as you're scanning it, both you and Jane, this Klingon and the Cardassian, your tricorders begin chirping the alert the moment the 2 of you start scanning it. And in perfect synchronicity, the 2 of you glance up and make eye contact each other because your tricorders are telling you the same thing. This communication device can indeed probably connect to a single communication device. Like it is a specialized communication device that is used to only make 1 connection. However, it also appears to have been activated and is a listening device as well. Skag apparently doesn't trust his business contacts. And you see that it's been activated for the past 10 minutes. So as the 2 of you are scanning, you realize this thing is basically a microphone right now. And it is actually connected to another device that, because you failed, you don't have an immediate precise location. However, I will give you this. It is within the vicinity.
Awesome. Is there anything coming through at the moment?
No, but
Okay.
there is somebody on the other side listening right now, and has been.
As
Can
of yet,
I?
no one has said anything that we know that is.
No, the Klingon and the Cardassian just both kind of gave the "Are you kidding me?" look to each other at this precise moment as the two science officers scan this thing.
So basically, he's heard all of our plan already right now.
That is
right
what
now.
the two science officers are beginning to surmise. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I yelled to them, "Is the scan done? Where is he?"
Shh.
I'm looking at Lacat trying to get like can I kind of pick up on what they're trying to tell us silently?
No.
Um,
No.
You have no
I'm
idea.
going to look at Olin. Because if Jane trusts anyone to talk in a hot mic situation, it's Olin. And so she looks at Mackrell and then she like looks to Olin and points at it and hopes that she can communicate. No, wait. We're not telepathically connected yet. We don't have that. So
but that's fine. I think we still know each other well enough that
I think
if,
we know
if
each
you
other
do,
well enough.
if you do this right, we can figure this out.
Yeah. So
Wow,
I would like to if I need to roll for it, I'll roll for it, but I would like to communicate to Olin through just gestures that the mic is hot. If anyone's gonna speak, it's gonna be you, I think.
Okay.
And while that's going on, I actually speak to my XO in Klingon that we're bugged.
Okay. So you all managed to communicate this to each other.
But they don't know that we know that we know that they know.
And Captain Wath just goes, "What's going on?"
Quiet, you fool.
The cat throws a butter knife at him.
Cling! It just bounces off him and goes, "Ow!"
I'm gonna look directly everyone in the eye. I'm like, it appears that we need to finalize our plan so we can make sure to get, because I'm gonna assume that he thinks that we still don't know that it's a listening device. I'm hoping that, or is it obvious that we all know now?
I'll give you this. You rolled a complication.
Crap.
Well, the Klingons all know that we're being bugged because Omek told us.
Right, but I'm trying to make sure if Sprag or Skag on the other end is still thinking that we're finalizing a plan.
Yeah, I'm doing you a favor, and as a GM, I'm letting you know that complication. Skag knows the
All
jig
right.
is up.
In that case, Jane is gonna look down at the communicator and she's gonna say, well, we know you can hear us and you know that we know, so we might as well come out into the open and have a conversation like civilized people.
Wait. He's on that thing? Give me that. Sprack immediately lunges and says, "I'm gonna kill you, you son of a..."
She's holding him back and she hands it.
Spewing
Is she holding it or is Omek
slurs.
holding it?
What are you doing, Jane?
Is Omek holding the communicator or is Jane holding the communicator?
It's Omek right now. Omek is
Okay,
holding
great.
Then
She's gonna hold back Sprack.
Okay. At that moment, over the comm, you hear a very familiar, deep Ferengi voice emerge. It's a bit of a chuckle, and then you hear, after a beat, you hear a Ferengi voice. "Is that my brother that's with you?" "Hello. It's good to hear your voice again, brother. I wish I could tell you about all of the modifications I've made to my ship. Unfortunately, it appears that I've attracted a little more attention than I'm used to, so I'm going to have to bid you all adieu. But thank you all so much for coming to Risa on my behalf. Take care now. Bye-bye."
Stop him.
I'm gonna look at the commander and I was like, if he's escaping to his ship, is your ship nearby to where we could probably... Oh, I'm gonna can I cover the communicator? I'm trying to see if there's a way we can...
None of you
Catches.
right now have access to a ship. You were all dropped off here on shuttlecraft.
Oh, that's right. We took a shuttle.
Yep.
Since we know that he's in the vicinity, can I do a scan to specifically see where he is?
You would need to spend momentum to do a reroll on that scan check.
We don't have
However,
any.
I will point out that you do have an empath. Now, it is worth noting that empaths cannot read Ferengi. But I will give you a hint. I did specify earlier.
Yeah, the guards.
Yes,
The two security that Lacat saw.
that's correct.
And was like
Bonnie, I'm going to go ahead and award you guys 1 momentum for that.
Yeah.
Nicely done, Bonnie.
I'm taking notes, yo.
All right. This is our 30-minute warning.
with those guards, was Lacat able to identify any traits about them? Because I think the only thing she noticed was that there were 2 tall people with the
Yeah,
Skag.
that's all I remember from.
Yeah, you weren't actually able to identify what's going on there. Just that it looked like 2 tall forms were flanking a Ferengi that disappeared into the crowd.
Hmm.
But I will give you all this. You are now on a timer.
I think in that case, Olin is going to turn to Sprack. What kind of people did your brother usually run with on his ship? Like who would he
Mostly
have?
other Ferengi.
Did he ever trade with anyone else outside of that?
Wath speaks up and says, Nausicaans.
Of course. Should have guessed. I'm gonna do a quick.
Temperature in the Klingon's blood begins to rise just a little bit as you hear the word Nausicaans.
Are you able to sense dishonor among Patach? Because that is what we are looking for now.
We've had a few run-ins with some Patak Noskins ourselves. I think I can help you. And so, yeah, I'm going to try and sense, piratism and general coolness.
I'm going to roll to sense piratism.
Piracy.
Anybody out there who wants to steal my stuff?
Roll to sense piracy. Let's just really channel the Captain Sull energy here.
Yeah. So with this information, yes, Olin, you focus for a minute to reach out to see if you can pick up any kind of indicator as to, now, just so you know, empathically, you're not going to, this doesn't work like, an Apple map where you can pin where they are. Instead, you're going to get a sense of how close by they are. Not even really a general direction, but that they would be close by. Also, it is worth noting that even though I had Omek make that roll, Lacat, you still have the ability to make a roll, and Omek can assist.
Awesome.
So, I'll give you this, Olin. With your empathic abilities, you do sense sort of like a heightened alert, like this sense of, as Adaj might have put it, a surge of adrenaline, almost as if there might be somebody in the area who is preparing to incite violence. You're definitely getting that sense.
They're around, that's for sure. Nearby as well. Not exactly sure exactly where, but they're here.
We don't have a lot of time. Lacat, Omek, do you think you can try again to pinpoint the location of the other side of that communicator?
Yes, absolutely. And so I would like to try and make a roll for that. Yeah.
All right, Lacat, Omek, if you want to help.
Yeah, can I assist without using our momentum?
Yes, absolutely. So it's 1 die for you. I'm going to say, so Lacat, you are going to be rolling reason plus science.
Great.
The difficulty of this would have been 4, so I'm dropping it to 3. And you, Omek, I'm going to have you roll control science, kind of like the same thing. You can call upon, if you want to try to call upon one of your values.
Yeah.
That is totally an option here.
Let me see.
We do have 1 momentum, just so as you know.
And keep in mind, you can use the fact that you were ordered to find this Ferengi as your value. It does.
I mean, I think that's going to have to be my value in this situation. And then I would like to use I'd like to roll a third die as well.
Oh, okay.
Just
The
gotta be
cat
safe.
goes all in. All right, so you're calling upon that value that you're basically spending your determination. So you're gonna get 2 automatic successes. So it's basically like you rolled 1 die with a critical hit. That
Right.
means now you're gonna roll 3d20,
Mm-hmm.
and Omek, you're gonna roll 1d20. How many successes do y'all get?
And I'm rolling reason science.
Mm-hmm. So you only technically need 2 successes to succeed on this right now.
I mean, might as well bank some momentum. There's no way that sensors could work for this,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
As a focus?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're using a tricorder to scan for this Ferengi. Yes.
Gosh, yeah.
I got a 14.
Okay.
Well, it's a success.
Is that a success for you, Omek?
Yeah, because it was a
Okay.
9 and 5.
Okay, great. You got 4 successes, so 5
Yeah, I
successes
did.
total. So everyone bank 3 momentum. As you
That's 7 successes, actually. 7. That
What
was
is it?
7 successes because we already had 2. And then, did you roll 4 on the 3 die?
Me? Yes.
Yeah. So
Right, and
that's
the difficulty
Again,
was
use my
4.
sensors focus.
Right, and the difficulty was 4, so bank 3 momentum.
she had 6 successes altogether with her auto.
Oh, because of
success.
your focus, correct? Because you got to
Yeah.
Okay, great. So go ahead and bank 4 momentum then. Look at you looking down at your tricorder. You can all hear the frantic chirping sounds as this Cardassian science officer begins to scan. Look at immediately you begin to detect anomalies on the scans. Unusual sort of like holes in the scan, which leads you to believe that there's some kind of sensory dampening effect taking place. You pause for a minute and begin typing away again, chirping through a lot of the interference that you're getting. Omek, you catch on that she has picked up a scent, specifically the scent being the absence of scent. There's a hole in a lot of the scan that's happening right now. Opening your Klingon tricorder, you stand next to her and the 2 of you begin to work in tandem as you're seeing what the other one is doing. Linking tricorders, you begin to exchange information back and forth, and together, the 2 of you manage to pinpoint precisely where that dampening effect is taking place. Someone is
Great.
trying to hide from transporters, from sensor scans, and it's actually having the opposite effect. It's giving you the exact hole location
Telling us
to
where the
you
exact blind
cannot see.
spot
Right.
is.
It's very subtle at first. It would take an impressive use of science application and sensor knowledge to be able to pinpoint where this hole is. The 2 of you working together spot it pretty soundly. It is about 200 meters away in what looks like a structure just off site from where you all are in one of the guest quarters. Or maybe it's a maintenance facility, you're not sure. But he is apparently hiding, and you're detecting a fluctuating group of life signs in that hole.
Okay.
But
But
you have
no certainty on like the exact number of life signs.
No.
Great. I turn to Lieutenant Omek and I say, the irony is that in hiding, he led us directly to him. I think we've got him.
I'm gonna look to the Klingons and be like, let's go find this hole. Because that's how Makrell is, very awkward.
Lieutenant,
Okay.
I believe a hunter has found his prey.
You are correct, Ra'amyan. Let us hunt.
Olin kind of looks at Sprack and says, I think you and I probably should stay here.
When you look at Sprack, Olin, you caught him picking the butter knife up off the floor. And he goes, probably
You-
shouldn't, though.
Me, we're going to stay here.
Don't kill him until I get there.
I wouldn't do that to you. I told you, killing brothers is overrated.
You and me, Lacat. You and me. We see each other. We get it. We get it.
We
Get it.
see each other, Sprack.
I'm going to stay here too, if that's okay. It seems like the jig is up and you really don't need me. But
I'll take them
if-
down to the bar for some drinks. Maybe they'll calm
we'll
down.
do that. Do you guys want anything while you're everyone's filtering out of the room? Captain Wath goes, it's okay. Just if you change your mind, just message me. And the door closes as you all go dashing after Skag. If you can, imagine 3 Klingons, a Cardassian, a Cation, dashing across the spa areas of Risa. At one point, you smash through a door, choosing to take the path of least resistance and run through a room filled with people who are in the middle of being in a sauna, getting massages, covered only in towels. No one seems to react with embarrassment at all. They just kind of watch you all run by as you charge through the room. X-raying into the other room.
Please say it's a steam room, and when we get
totally
out,
a steam room.
My first is even more.
As you all emerge, there's this fluff ball of a Cation just like charging behind you with her coat flapping in the wind.
If we're running through the massage area, can I grab a bottle of oil as I run through?
If you're willing to spend the momentum, yes.
Yeah, I'll spend 1 momentum. I
We
just
got
want a bottle of oil.
Okay. Technically it's 2, but I don't want to make you burn 2 momentum for a bottle of oil. So I'll just make it 1. So you find a bottle of oil, snatch it. The masseuse watches you, is snatching it away and goes, "Hey, now okay." Notices you're a Klingon in full battle armor and goes back to rubbing the person's calf muscle. You both, everyone charging out of the room. I can almost hear Benny Hill music playing as all of y'all are just like smashing through, like charging through open areas, charging past tables where people are dining, running out into the pool area. You spot what looks like a large gift shop that's very crowded. The gift shop, however, is filled with all of these interesting knickknacks, and specifically, it is floor-to-ceiling shelves of Horgons everywhere. Horgons as far as you can see, just shelf after shelf after shelf of Horgons. In that crowd, it's difficult to spot Ferengi. They're typically shorter in stature than most species. Not hard to spot the 2 Nausicaans who look like they're in the middle of an irritable argument with somebody who can't be seen. The crowd there begins to separate a little bit, but you spot it. It's about 30 meters in front of you as you exit this last building. What would you all like to do?
I'd like to pick up the Horgon doll and maybe use it as a weapon so I can chuck it at this Ferengi.
I too would like to pick up a Horgon doll.
I look for a keychain with my name on it. I'm just kidding.
I love this. I love the idea of y'all using Horgons as weapons. All right, so so essentially the Horgons that are available to you all are poolside right now that people have on display. So Omek, this rather tall, scantily clad Andorian who's kind of sprawled out at the pool and covered in what looks like a cold towel, sees you snatch up his Horgon and goes, "Really? Oh, okay." As you just charge past him, you just snatch it up and it looks like he reacts positively and then you're gone. It's kind of the same with you, Lakat, except for the Bolian who watches you snatch up, his Horgon just watches in confusion, like, what's going on? Like seeing all of you charge across the pool areas. So I'm going to rule that you have a bludgeoning weapon. All of you have a bludgeoning weapon.
I just have my claws out.
Okay.
But you can't really see them because my paws are so poofy.
Okay. The crowd parts. You see there is a Ferengi. It is definitely Skag, making eye contact with all of you. He seems to go from a state of comfortable defiance to like he's kind of being authoritarian with these Nausicaans who are in a disagreement with him at the moment. It looks like they're raising their voices to him. He's shaking his head until he spots you and his eyes go wide as saucers. Whatever comfort that he had that he could be hidden in plain sight vaporizes immediately. And he begins to bounce and shout as the Nausicaans turn and stare at him. And then both Nausicaans also grab Horgons. You hear shouting from somebody at the top of their lungs from behind them at the gift shop. And the Nausicaans charge forward. Behind the Nausicaans is the Ferengi frantically tapping, which you must assume is some kind of communications device or perhaps even a transporter activator, but he is tapping frantically. We are going to enter into combat. 2 Nausicaans wielding a Horgon, 3 Klingons, and a Cardassian and a Cation. The Cardassian and the Klingon also wielding Horgons. The Nausicaans bravely charging into battle. with a blood fury in their eyes. It looks like whatever irritation they had with the Ferengi, they're intending on taking out against all of you. However, being that I have all this threat that I haven't spent, I'm going to spend threat. And right off at the top of the scene, 2 more Nausicaans are going to emerge from the side of the pool area who are hearing all of this noise.
That evens the odds a little
And
bit.
they too are going to join in as a brawl breaks out near the gift shop here on Risa. So, in Star Trek Adventures, there's no real role of initiative. It's kind of a scene setup where you dictate who's going to go first. And in true Star Trek episode fashion, I'm going to hand initiative to you guys. So these Nausicaans come charging up. You all decide who would like to go first.
So are they like, how far away are they when this battle starts?
At this point, I'm going to say, unless you have anything else that you want to do, I'm going to say they close into melee range so that we can get into the fight.
I want to take my bottle of oil and just pour it all over the ground as they come charging at us.
Okay. I tell you what, Adaj, if you're willing to spend 2 momentum, I will attach a trait to the scene that will increase the difficulty of their attacks by 1 as you spray this massage oil all out in front of you guys.
Is that cool, everyone?
That's cool.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yep.
Now be aware that trait expenditure and adding that to the scene, if you are not careful, can count against you as well. So just be mindful of where you are, because Adaj is basically dumping this oil out onto the ground in front of her. So these Nausicaans are going to charge and meet you, and they're going to encounter this oil first. So, spend the momentum. They are now at an enhanced difficulty. That was going to be your action, so now it's going to be their action. So the lead Nausicaan is going to come up and try to club Adaj, because Adaj was the first one engaging here by jumping forward and spreading this oil. So, Adaj, you are going to make a daring security check, difficulty 1, and this is a melee attack. He is also rolling daring security.
Can I use my medicine instead of security here?
Yes, your martial arts skill, which allows you to use your medicine. Yeah, because you're fighting unarmed right now. Yes.
All right. And I make 2 rolls or just 1?
You roll 2d20. Always 2d20 unless you're assisting.
I got a 12 and a 2.
How many
So that's
successes?
2. No. Yeah, 2. Does a focus count for?
Yes, you're using martial arts here to defend yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 3
The focus
successes.
will count. How many?
3.
3? Okay, I rolled a 20 and a 17. So essentially what happens is, as this Nausicaan charges forward, there's a shocked look in his eyes as he puts down his foot, and as he's getting into a range where he can club you with this Horgon, he slides towards you. He looks down at his feet and collides with your fist. What's your unarmed damage?
It has the little sign and 2.
So roll 2 challenge dice.
Okay.
And add so that's going to be, yeah. So what's your security, what's your medicine rating here?
5.
5? Okay, and your security rating is?
Security
1?
is 1.
Okay, cool. So yeah, go ahead and roll your challenge dice.
Okay. I got a 5, which is an effect, right?
Yep, that's 1 damage and an effect, which, by the way, you can activate, counts as a knockdown.
Yeah, I want that. And I also got a 4. So.
Okay, 4 is not going to give you anything. However, while you only did a single point of damage to him, you basically slide what looks like a chop right across the side of his jaw. That, coupled with the oil, he collapses. He gets knocked down. He slides onto his ass, smacking down onto his back, and slides into the middle of your party. He is completely helpless now, lying on his back, looking up at 3 Klingons and the 2 Federation officers that are standing over him. It is now you guys' action. Omek, there is a helpless Nausicaan lying at your feet.
Yes, and what I do is I take my Horgon doll, I stick it under my armpit and crack it and break it in half. So now I have 2 pieces of this wooden shard.
Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. And then I come and I with these 2 Horgan dolls in both of my hands, I jump up and aiming for this Nausicaan's head, trying to jab shards of the wood into his face.
Okay. As I'll let you do as a minor action, you basically snap this thing in half. Go ahead and make your roll. So this is going to be a daring security check. I'm going to set the difficulty of this because of what happened to him last round. He is actually not going to be able to defend himself. So I'm going to actually use this as an opportunity to set the difficulty at 0 to smack this guy.
I got 1 success.
1 success is all you needed to hit him. So roll your unarmed strike damage and add +1 to it. You're muted.
I got 2 4s and a 6 and 2 2s. My melee is 5, so I think I have, what is that?
No, so it's just whatever your challenge dice rating is. So you rolled. So the 4s don't count. 2s count for 2s. 5s count for 1 plus effect.
Okay, so 2 2s, 2 2s, and a 6.
So 4. So that's 5 damage. That's enough to cause. A wound, basically. And because he is a minor NPC, he cannot spend for threat to avoid injury. So you knock his ass out right there. You just, as he comes sliding to your feet, his eyes widen as he realizes he's on the ground. And then the next thing he sees is a furious Klingon with a split Horgon smashing it down. The last thing he sees is the face of this Horgon impacting on his head. He goes completely unconscious. The other one charges forward. At this point, I'm actually going to say that the charging forward Nausicaans, the argument that they were having with Skag apparently carrying over a little bit here, because even though reinforcements arrive before this next action begins, I'll give you all of this. There is hesitation in the Nausicaans. You see them not quite sure this is worth the money they're getting paid, kind of like expressions on their face, if you know what I mean. You see a little bit of hesitation as you all engage in this fight. And at this point, they're screaming and people are fleeing. People are jumping up from their relaxation beds, diving into the pool to get away from the combat. It's pure chaos. Who would like to go? I'm sorry, it's their round. They're actually gonna go. So the next action, this Nausicaan is going to try and attack. Let's see. I think this Nausicaan is going to kind of coming at a little bit of an angle, tries to avoid that oil slick that he saw his friend fall into. So as a minor action, I'm going to make a quick roll here to see if he can avoid it. And I'm going to roll fitness security. And I'm going to set the difficulty of this, because it's a trait, I'm going to set the difficulty of this at 1. Let's see what he rolls. That actually might not be enough. Nope, I rolled 2 13s and that's not enough. So this Nausicaan seems to focus on you, Jane, and he comes charging towards the crowd, a lot of you, followed by the smacking sounds of the Nausicaan getting beaten down behind you. This Nausicaan slides and loses his balance. Doesn't get knocked down, but comes sliding up to you. He's going to get an attack on you, but it's going to be at an increased difficulty because he wasn't able to dodge the effect of the oil slick. So roll your daring plus security. Difficulty is 1. He is not going to be able to, his difficulty is going to be 2. So go ahead and make your close combat check. So daring plus security difficulty 1, 2d20. Tell me what you get. This is not what Jane does, right? You're muted, by the way. You're still muted.
I got 2 successes.
Oh, okay.
Daring security. Yeah.
Okay. Man, the Nausicaans are the stormtroopers of my game, I swear to God. All right. Comes sliding up to you. Does not succeed, which means you get the hit.
Great. Then I would like to take the hit with my little wooden statue.
What's your unarmed rating?
My unarmed rating is 1, I believe.
So add +1 to that. So roll 2 challenge dice here.
Right.
2d6.
Awesome. D6, D6. I got a 1 and a 6.
Okay, so you get 2 damage and an effect, which is a knockdown. So he goes sliding to the ground. You also pound him across the side of the head with the Horgon. If you guys want, you can spend momentum to keep the initiative as this one goes down. Because McCrell,
Hell
I know
yeah.
you wanted to take an action, and
Absolutely.
Ramyan, you want to.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, so spend 2 momentum, and McCrell, I'll give you. You have the next action.
I'm going to very quickly, because I know we don't have time, quickly look at Lacat and go, isn't this a nice vacation? And I'm going to just run like full speed and slide on the oil, because they're not going to be expecting it, and
Right.
like do a side kick and knock one of them off, like kind of knee knock one of them down.
If you want, because as a Cation, you have that kind of agility. If you want, McCrell, because right now there's no one between the two of you, you could technically make it to Skag.
That was my goal. I wanted one, because I know he's trying to get out. Like he's trying to, yeah. So I was going to just book it, because I know the Klingons can handle the rest of the fight.
Why
but
don't
I
we
needed
do
to
this? Using this momentum of the oil, I'm going to have you make the roll of the game.
Okay.
So this is going to be a fitness security roll.
Okay.
And
And
I'm
I
going
would
to
like,
set the difficulty of this at 4.
okay.
So
Oh.
if you can clear a 4 difficulty, I will let you skate across the ground, sliding right past the Nausicaans, and make a leap for Skag.
Will the value, if it will prevent harm, release your rage, account to this?
Yes, because I'll give you this. The disagreement between the Nausicaans, everything that's happened right now, you get the sense that if you take out Skag, they're probably going to retreat.
Okay.
Can I help? I have an advisor talent. Can I help? She can re-roll. each one.
Yes, I'll let you help by distracting the other Nausicaans if you want to say that you're charging them, and I'll give you a boost to the roll. So in which case, Idaj, I will have you make a presence security. Let's do a presence command check, because you're basically just trying to get the attention of the other Nausicaans. Go ahead and make your roll, guys. This is the last roll of the session, so make it a good one.
Success.
You get 2
5
out of
successes.
5 successes.
Yes. That's with my crit. That's
6
with my
total. So you actually get, okay. So, all right. So it all happens pretty fast. The Cation doctor, her coat flapping in the breeze, a big puffball from running through all the steam, courses right through all of these Nausicaans that are charging forward to the entire group, sliding across the ground just as Idaj lets out a bellowing and Klingon scream. This 5'1" Klingon just charging into the Nausicaans, causing them to hesitate, clearing the space between. McCrell, you leap, claws out. Skag's eyes open wide as they see their impending doom as this doctor, this fluff ball of a Cation in this blue flowing cloak, just come leaping at them in midair. They get time to go as you smash into them, colliding with the countertop of this gift shop behind you. The 2 of you go down into a heap as the communication device on his arm, you hear it go and spark as he smashes into the ground. At that point, the guests who are scattering and leaving, the Nausicaans who are still there, seeing Skag has been tackled and captured, glance at each other, glance at the Klingons, and begin to scatter. And one by one, you see these Nausicaans disappearing into the crowd as they're dashing away. McCrell, you have Skag in your hands. He looks at you. You're grabbing him by the neck. He just looks up at you and goes, I surrender. I surrender.
I just go, yes.
Yes. To conclude the scene, security surrounding all of you, your Federation badge is on display. It's been made clear to the Rycians here that you are apprehending a criminal of the Federation and a wanted criminal of the Klingon Empire. Skag seems horrified. Sprack, his brother, is gleeful and is taunting. But as all of you are surrounding him and sort of making eye contact with each other, there's a debate over who gets to take him away. Sprack, however, makes it very obvious to all of you that if he can just get his ship back, the Liquidator, he can supply the USS Ross with anything that they're looking for. So an exchange is agreed upon between the two crews. The Klingons can take Skag. Sprak gets his ship back. The next 2 days that are spent here at Risa are mostly spent on behalf of the Federation crew, as the Klingons beam away with Skag to the sounds of a laughing younger brother, Sprak. When the communication comes through, Sprak indicates that the liquidator has arrived in orbit and now tells you that we don't have to wait for a shuttle. You can all go back to the Ross whenever you like.
Yes.
And you are invited as guests upon his ship. As everyone parts Risa, returning to their prospective ships, one large question still looms. The nature of this Romulan ambassador. Where is his location? The Trillium D ore. When is and how is it going to be employed? And what's waiting for you when you both ships return to the Shackleton Expanse? It's only a matter of time before the USS Ross and the IKS Borku cross paths again. But not too bad for a first meeting. And that is where we're going to bring our game to a close. Our special little 2-hour one-shot crossover. Not too bad considering. You guys managed to capture Skag, setting up the next chapter for what's going to be taking place in the Shackleton Expanse. You have a cloaked Romulan vessel out there that can fire while undercloaked, using technology stolen from the Klingons that hasn't been seen since General Chang used it on his bird of prey. Admiral Mindak, a longtime opponent of both the Federation and the Klingon Empire, in command of this ship, and who is an agent of Admiral Sela, the one who is currently trying to galvanize the Tal Shiar to seize control of the fractured remains of the Romulan Star Empire after the death of Praetor Shinzon. The destabilization of the Romulan neutral zone and what is to come, all waiting for you in the Shackleton Expanse.
And we made Klingon friends.
And you made Klingon friends.
And we
That's gonna
didn't
do it
kill
for us.
anyone.
Let's not call them our friends.
Okay.
Calm down.
You are the one who,
You're barely my friend.
managed to work really well with a Klingon science officer. Don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
The common language. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for this special 2-hour one-shot. You can catch our game on Monday nights at 6:30 p.m. PT on Q Times here on Twitch. We hope you enjoyed this little 2-hour special. You can catch more of us on those Monday nights. Thank you so much for joining us for Gen Con Live. We hope that you all are staying healthy and safe. Thank you so much to Gen Con for having us. It's always a deep pleasure doing any kind of gaming with Gen Con. And of course, special thanks to our TD, who's out there. We love you very much. Thank you so much for helping us. Our omniscient voice, Grant. Thank you, Grant Ellis. We will catch you guys next time, next episode. Until then, hailing frequencies are closed.